49ers. George Seifert now in his fourth year.
Number 79, offense, 10 yards, third down.
That's Harris Barton, the right tackle.
You know, Verne, this kind of looks like a first quarter of a game opener between two teams that are very determined. Here, you know, we have had a taunting penalty. We had Jerry Rice jump the gun a little on a touchdown play. We have a holding penalty. We've had a lot of penalties right in this area.
And we've now got a 3rd and 22 in a scoreless first quarter. Bono to Henderson, far short of the first down, but it might give. Oh, there's a fumble. A loose ball picked up by Mike Sherrard, and he is dropped at the 35-yard line. Everson Walls and Mark Collins collaborating defensively.
Tell you one thing, the Giants look a heck of a lot better in this first series of defense than they did in the preseason.
Well, they were 2-2 in preseason, opening with wins over Cincinnati and Cleveland, then a loss to the Jets, and they were devastated last week, 24-3 to Pittsburgh. Now, Mike Cofer, who had a decent preseason after an awful 1991, but this is 48 yards out. No, sir. Ray Handley showing some emotion. No score, 10:46 remaining first quarter after the unsuccessful field goal attempt by Mike Cofer. Another final in. You saw the winning touchdown toss from Harbaugh as Chicago edges Detroit by 3 with the second remaining. And we welcome those of you who watched that game to our contest. Bob McKittrick, the offensive line coach of the 49ers.
I think he's talking about that play where Steve Young got hit. He's talking about if Marshall gets off his block, he's going to take a straight angle. So he's telling Jesse Zappola, the center, to look for Marshall.
Wallace and McIntyre and Zapolo and Barton. Roy Foster, it's a fine offensive line. There's Steve Young. Knocked silly on a pass rush and out for a series.
Oh, he really got hit because remember Leonard Marshall was forcing him from the left side and he turned around and Eric Dorsey hit him square in the face.
Second offensive series now for Phil Simms and the New York Giants. 8-8 in 1991. Ingram near side, Baker split at the top of your screen. Play fake. Into the flat, caught by Jared Bunch. Last year's #1 draft choice, who had kind of a wasted 1991. John Johnson with the tackle, a gain of 4.
Well, you know what they're trying to do with Jared Bunch this year is they're putting him in the backfield. Last year they started him more on the line like an H-back, and I think he has to be in the backfield and running. Now they could use him a little as a backup tight end or in the backfield. Then they can use Hampton in the backfield or out as a wide receiver. So that gives them some diversity there.
Second down and 6. No score, 10:05 to go first quarter. Play action again. Sims looks deep left side and completes the pass to Stephen Baker for a first down at the 44, a gain of 10.
That was 3 wide receivers. Baker was out there in the left. You see Ingram is inside. Baker just gets an outside release, a good outside release on Don Griffin, the best defensive back of the 49ers. Then he runs a comeback. But again, it all starts right here with protection. Rodney Hampton steps up in the middle, picks up the blitz, does a good job of letting Phil Simms step and throw it to Stephen Baker.
And they're now saying that Stephen Baker was bobbling the ball on his way down, and they've ruled it incomplete.
One official called it complete, then the other official said that he didn't have control of it.
And it's third down. Dave Meggett comes in. Flag is down. Meggett has the ball in his hands and drops it. It'll be fourth down pending the outcome of the infraction.
Hey, you know, there's a fine line between high intensity and sloppy football.
Where are we?
We're on that line right now. On one hand, you can say, boy, these guys are intense out there. The other hand, you can say, boy, these guys are sloppy. That's a fourth penalty called already.
Illegal motion, number 85. That penalty is declined. Fourth down.
You can see him right here at the top. Again, they're going to call that on Stephen Baker. Remember, we saw the same thing happen to Jerry Rice doing the same thing. They're just a little too anxious. It should never happen. The wide receiver should be out there looking in at the football and shouldn't move until the ball snaps.
That brings on Sean Landetta, and Don Griffin is back to return it. He waits at the 25-yard line. This one taken by Griffin at the 32. Was it in the possession of the Giants? No. No. Canavis McGee had it, but the official made an immediate call that he did not have possession before he went out of bounds.
And he made that immediate call on the Giants sideline, too. If you're ever going to talk an official into anything, it's on your sideline. I don't know. It looked like McGee had both feet in bounds. And the ball must have been out of bounds, but that was awfully, awfully close.
Well, let me be the first one after 4 o'clock Eastern time to remind everybody that there is no instant replay this year, so that is not a reviewable play, whether or not he had possession. Steve Young back in the lineup after a 30-yard return by Don Griffin. So they're playing in the left end of the field, John. First and 10. From the 39. Young, Rice. Jerry Rice, who had an earlier touchdown reception, wiped out by a penalty.
Yeah, now Rice is the secondary receiver here. He's on the left side. You see he's going to run a slant out. He slants in like he's going to the inside, then he pivots and works back out. One of the best things about Jerry Rice is coming out of a break quickly. He can run fast, but a lot of guys can run fast. But he doesn't lose speed when he slows down to make a break.
Ricky Waters, big hole in the right side. Harris Barton, Tom Rathman, and Waters is inside the 10 after an 18-yard gain.
And the 49ers are trying to get him to take that thing in and boom, and just break it away. And I'll tell you, Waters did it that time. He was dancing around a little too much in preseason, but look at that big hole there. I mean, Barton takes his guy in, Rathman takes his guy out, and Waters just hits that thing right between them.
From the 9, first and goal. Waters again. Guy McIntyre helped with the blocking on that one, a gain of 5.
And you know who else did was a right guard, Roy Foster. He came out and he makes a heck of a block. Number 67, he's going to come out and hook the outside guy. Watch 67 here. You can block him, and hook him right there. See how he hooked him? That was the block that let Waters get the corner.
Second and goal from the 4, no score, 7:53 to go, opening quarter. Stuffed. Eric Howard, the nose tackle. And last week in their loss to Pittsburgh, the Giants had enormous problems against the run. George Rooks, a rookie 10th round draft choice, was in that nose tackle spot.
And I'll tell you, those inside linebackers are sure happy to see Eric Howard back in there. Remember, you see Eric Howard get that penetration. Remember the last time he got penetration like that against the 49ers was a play that caused Roger Craig to fumble and put the Giants in the Super Bowl.
Third down. Play fake. Rathman, touchdown. 49ers on top.
That's a great play down on the bootleg, down on the goal line, the bootleg. The back start one way, flow starts to the right, you fake it that way, and then you bootleg it out the other way. Watch him, the backs are going to start to the right. The halfback starts to the right. Rathman sneaks right through here. Young bootlegs and runs right by Lawrence Taylor, who could have made the play, and hits Rathman for the touchdown.
Rathman scores a lot, but usually running the football. That's his first catch for a TD since 1989 when he had only one. Coper's extra point is up and good. So the 49ers use a 30-yard punt return by Don Griffin to set up the TD.
Yeah, watch the touchdown play here. See, the back goes this way, quarterback comes this way. Rathman sneaks through, and the quarterback, Steve Young, runs right by Lawrence Taylor. They don't even block Taylor. Watch the back, the line goes that way. You see Taylor comes too tight, so Young can just get right around him, and Tom Rathman sneaks from the offside.
Lawrence Taylor. Harris Barton was talking about Lawrence Taylor yesterday. Barton, the right tackle of the 49ers, and said they say he's lost something. I don't see it.
Well, I mean, he's not as quick and as powerful as he once was. He's not the dominant player that he once was.
Coper will kick off. Callaway at the 7. Down at the 20-yard line, the tackle made by Alan Grant. And Reggie McKenzie, 13 yards on the kickoff return. Time has been called. Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. 6:54 to go first quarter. Tom Rathman's catch of the 3-yard pass from Steve Young has the 49ers with an early lead. Steve Young, who was knocked out when hit by Eric Dorsey and is still conferring with the medical staff on the sideline. He had a slight concussion, but back in there. San Francisco overwhelming the Giants thus far. Here's Rodney Hampton coming right and getting knocked down by Mike Walter, number 99. Dr. Jim Clint, the team physician for the 49ers.
And, you know, since that play where Steve Young got knocked out, then he came back, he's been talking with the doctor the whole time. And I think one thing, when someone has a concussion, I think you want to keep checking him all the time. They just don't let him say he's okay and then walk away from him. Ever since Steve Young has come off the field, that doctor has been standing right by his side.
2nd and 7 for the Giants. Derek Brown, number 1 draft choice, in motion. Sims looks that way, fires right. Eric Davis knocks it down and out of the hands of Stephen Baker. Philly wins by 2. Buffalo wins by 33. Atlanta hangs on. Jason Starowski missed 2 makeable field goals for the Jets in that one. They had bunting in Atlanta as well. Pittsburgh over Houston by 5. That's a shocker.
That is, and in Chicago, of course, they keep that thing. They've had the best opening day record and best month of September record and all those things, and they keep that stuff going.
Bill Sims not off to a great start. He's 1 of 5. And that was catchable and dropped by Callaway. The Plan B acquisition who misfires, and it'll be 4th down.
That's one of the problems the Giants have. They keep talking about wanting to open up and go deep, but they don't have a lot of players to open up with or go deep with. In fact, their only big play guy they have in the team, I think, is Dave Meggett, and he hasn't played since the 2nd preseason game.
And because they couldn't convert the 3rd down, here's Landeta for his 3rd punt of the first quarter. That's a dandy. Griffin at the 27. The tackle made at the 39-yard line, a 50-yard punt, 12 on the return. 49ers have it back again. Larry Roberts and Michael Carter enjoying opening day of the 1992 National Football League season. They are on top. The Giants, 7-0, a 3-yard touchdown toss. Steve Young to Tom Rathman.
You know, George Seifert was saying yesterday that if our defense is going to be good, it has to be led by our defensive line. At one time it was led by the secondary, but now it has to be led by the defensive line. I think they have an opportunity to.
That's John Taylor in motion. Steve Young back. Rathman with a good block. A wobbler coming to Jerry Rice in front of Perry Williams. And that's good for a first down at the 49.
And Steve Wallace is still blocking on Lawrence Taylor. Wallace, to me, is one of the best tackles in football. He's a left tackle for the 49ers. And he drew Lawrence Taylor. And one thing about Wallace, he stays with his guy. I mean, he locked on Lawrence Taylor, and he just drove him outside right beyond the play so that Steve Young could throw to that side. Steve Wallace is the guy that gave him the lane.
And as a result, a first down pass of 12 yards. And again, the 49ers across the 50-yard line. Third time they've been here. Young improvising. And he said yesterday he was going to start sliding down. This time he does after a gain of 4.
Well, I think that all his coaches and all the players tell him to slide instead of going head first. When you slide, they can't hit you. He's already had a concussion. Remember this play. Watch Leonard Marshall 70 comes through, flushes them out to the right. Now watch Eric Dorsey. Boing! Right there. I'll tell you, that gave him a slight concussion. He missed a series, came back and threw a touchdown pass.
Second down and 7. 49ers lead it 7-0. 4:30 to go, first quarter. Slipped the ball to Ricky Waters, and he is inside the 45 to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, Ricky Waters has over 40 yards already, and that's one thing that has to concern the Giants. You know, you never used to be able to do that to them. I mean, maybe you could get some passes underneath their zones and stuff, but you could never dominate the line of scrimmage and run. They've been doing it in preseason, and so far, as I said, Waters already has over 40 yards.
And that was a big part of their problems last year. It's third down and 4 with 3:50 to go, first quarter. Waters in motion. Blitz is coming. They pick it up. Young scrambles. Lawrence Taylor has him.
One thing the Giants wanted to do is make him hold the ball. And this is when this can happen. Don't let him throw when he wants to throw. See, he's looking, he wants to throw now. He can't throw now, he has to hold it. Then if you can make him do that, then you can make him do that.
Here is the new punter for the 49ers. We'll introduce him to the Bay Area. It's Klaus Wilmsmeyer, signed as a free agent earlier this week. Fair catch. Dave Meggett at the 14-yard line. A 31-yard punt for Klaus Wilmsmeyer. 3:19 to go, first quarter. Sellout crowd on opening day of the 1992 regular season of the National Football League, and we have bunting.
Well, that's what you should have. I mean, there should be some tradition. You know, they just start playing games. Here today, they didn't have any bunting in the state. We brought our own bunting. We needed someone throw out the first ball. We brought our own ball, gave it to the commissioner, and he threw out the first ball of the season to Joe Montana. That's the way to start football.
You got to have a little tradition, a little ceremony. Steve Young is heading for the locker room. I'm sure bothered by that concussion.
Well, you know, we said the doctor, when he was out there, the doctor kept talking to him. He stood by his side the whole time. And there had to be something. You know, after they have a concussion, as I said, they keep checking him, and then that doctor wouldn't leave his side, and you knew that there had to be something up there.
Rodney Hampton gets the carry on first down for the Giants, and he gains 3. Second down and 7. New York still looking for its first down. 3 times they've been 3 plays and punt. Hampton to the 28-yard line. Lots of things going on opening day. Let's go back across the Hudson and check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Verne, and we'll take you to Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where Claude Rouvet from 25 yards out with 4:40 to play in overtime gives the Vikings a 23-20 victory. They were perfect in the preseason. They are perfect in regular season. Dennis Green is a winner in OT, Verne.
All right, Greg, that is the same Claude Rouvet who was guilty of an unnecessary roughness call in the final preseason game. Jared Bunch late checking into the lineup. Now he sets to the right on 3rd and short. Hampton, first down for the Giants in 92.
Let's watch the blocking on the right side of the line. We see Kratch and Riesenberg. They come out. Riesenberg gets a good block on Romanowski right there. That's the one that makes the whole possible. Get in there, stand them up, drive them out. Bunch gets just a little nudge, and that was enough of a hole. But a pretty good block there by Riesenberg, and average block by Bunch.
Rodney Hampton was the 10th best running back in the league last year on 3rd and short. He was 17 of 22 in conversions on 3rd and 2 or less. Here's Sims airing it out for Joey Smith, incomplete. Ray Handley saying yesterday, we will open it up. We will try and go deep just to test him. And
Joey Smith is probably the 5th wide receiver on the Giants team, but he's the fastest of the wide receivers. He was on their practice squad all last year, and Ray Handley was saying that at the end of the year they activated him, and in practice, when he was practicing the other team's plays, he caught everything. Then they said, okay, you're going to play this week, we got to play for you. He said he didn't catch a ball the rest of the year.
Bill Sims, 1 of 7. Jared Bunch. That equals the number of carries he had all of last year in his rookie season. 1.
You know, the interesting thing about Joey Smith is, you know, he's the fastest guy there, and it looks like they're going to try and go to him, but they had that World Football League, and the Giants gave Joey Smith, he was on the practice squad, they even activated him last year, gave him to the World Football League. He played for Mouse Davis's team, and he was cut. So here's a guy cut by the World Football League, opening day in the NFL, just having a deep pass thrown to him.
There are, by the way, some 50 players from the World League who are on opening day active rosters. That pass is complete. First down, Giants, Ed McCaffrey. The second-year man from Stanford, and let's go back to the blocks that made it happen.
Well, you know, anytime Dave Maggott comes in, what they try and do is bring a blitzer. They bring a defensive back so that Maggott will have to block. So Maggott has become a pretty good blocker. You see, that was Thane Gash who came, and he came, and Maggott says, okay, if you're going to come make me stay in, I'm going to keep blocking you.
Gain of 25 on the block by Dave Maggott. That's the end of the first quarter. With our score, the 49ers 7, the Giants nothing. Giants Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. The 49ers on top 7-0 as we get set for the start of quarter number 2. And Steve Young, having been checked by the doctors in the locker room, is back on the 49er bench.
You know, after a guy has a concussion, he asks a lot of questions. See Steve Young, he's asking there because you don't know what happened. And you're trying to remember how it happened to you and what happened to you. And then maybe more important, what happened since what happened to you happened to you.
Which is the more important?
I think the more important is that you get back in your senses and you know what is happening right now.
First and 10 after the 25-yard pass play. Bunch coming left. John Elliott tries to level the block, but Michael Walter fights it off with the help of John Johnson. At the end of one quarter, statistically, it shaped up this way. 6 first downs to 2. The rushing edge to the 49ers, passing as well, and the time of possession, though not by much.
Well, and the other thing that hurt was the penalties. Remember, the 49ers did have one touchdown pass call back, that one to Jerry Rice. when Jerry Rice was the guy that went in motion.
2nd and 9 Giants. They are at the San Francisco 43. Hampton is lined up as a wide receiver on the left side. Tim Harris playing the elephant position, fought off the block of Doug Riesenberg and knocked down the pass.
You know what happened? Doug Riesenberg is a right tackle. He tried to cut Tim Harris. Now what happens, if you look here, here's Riesenberg. He's going to try and boom, go down and cut Harris. Now, if you're a good defensive player, when a guy tries to cut you like that there, you take the cut, then you jump up in the air because you know it's going to be a short pass. That's why he's trying to cut you so that they can throw the ball over you. Tim Harris has rushed enough and been cut enough that he knows when you get cut, he knows what to expect.
Tim Harris has lost some poundage from last year, and he's replacing Charles Haley. Here's Bill Sims. Close to the line of scrimmage. The ball is tipped away by Don Griffin. Intended for Baker at the 28.
Yeah, Don Griffin is the best defensive back the 49ers have, and he's one of the best corners in football. And I think if you're going to go to work on someone, a defensive back, I would pick someone other than Don Griffin. Although he has his work cut out today for him because he's not only playing corner and have to cover all over the field, he's also the punt returner.
And he is back at the 10 right now, waiting for Sean Landetta's 4th punt of the first half. That's a dandy by Landetta. Out of bounds at the 12-yard line. 49ers take over with a 7-0 lead in the second quarter. 13:55 remaining first half of play. 49ers leading the New York Giants. Verne Lundquist and John Madden here after Sean Landetta's 4th punt out of bounds at the 12-yard line. There is Bill Musgrave, who is the 3rd active quarterback for the 49ers. We have a report now from the bench that Steve Young will not play for the remainder of this half. He is talking, of course, to Joe Montana, who is on injured reserve. And there's visual evidence. The two do speak.
And it's also visual evidence that Joe Montana, you see, he was throwing like he's going left-handed, pointing to his chin, and he was telling him what happened to him. Because the last guy that knows what happened to him was Steve Young.
13:55 to go in the first half of play. There's Bill Sims off to a slow start, not the kind of quick start he had envisioned or hoped for. 7-0 49ers. They had one touchdown call back because of a penalty. That was the pass from Bono to Rice. Here's Bono into the flat for Ricky Waters. And John Taylor was trying his best to block. Well, Joe Montana, January 4th, 1987, here at Giant Stadium. Remember the playoff game? He was hit by Jim Burt, 49-3. Serious injury for Montana. He came back from surgery after having been loaded in the ambulance on that memorable occasion. First down and 10. Henderson with the carry. That's a gain of 2.
I tell you, that is the way to play the run for a nose tackle. If you watch Eric Howard, he missed all the training camp. But what you do, the nose tackle, you get him in right here. You see, you get the center and you control him. And then you just work him and take him right down the line. And then when the ball gets there, you just, boom, you just push off the center. And they must have overheard that conversation. You said, you want a 15? We'll give you a 15.
Here's Waters on the sweep. Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown run of Rodney Hampton.
Well, you know, if we look at it here on the clicker, we'll see that we start out here, and Jumbo Elliott's going to pull. The left tackle, he's going to pull and get a good block with a hole. Watch him, 76. He just comes out there and just grabs his guy. So there you got a grab right there. And now if you watch Roberts here, he's going to block 2. So you get a grab, and then you get Roberts blocking 2. Then you get a good move by Hampton right here. Look at that move that he makes, and a poor tackle by the rookie #1 draft choice, Dana Hall.
After all of that, Hampton scooted in the end zone, tied it up at 7. Now it's 2nd down and 3. Bono back to pass. Across the middle, a crossing route to John Taylor. A stiff arm by Taylor and out of bounds after the missed tackle of Greg Jackson. That is a gain of 24.
You know, the stiff arm that you just call is a play that you don't see a lot of players use, but John Taylor is one of the guys who still does a lot of stiff arm in the open field. Some guys will still do them on the sideline, but that used to be the big play, the old stiff arm. Now watch Taylor. He comes in, then he's going to go across. He should square it off, give the quarterback his numbers. Now watch right here. Boom! That is a great stiff arm. I don't know why he ran out of bounds, though. I mean, I think they're doing that too much in this league. I mean, you get there, boom, turn that thing up and keep it going. You can make a touchdown, maybe.
1st down and 10 after the 24-yard gain, and flags it.
Tired of the snap.
There's Matt the Mean.
1st down.
Yeah, he got that 15-yard penalty. He doesn't want that. That's 15 yards that goes against their defense.
4 penalties for the 49ers. I just wonder if he pulled a muscle in that right leg.
Well, he did something. But because he got up limping, and he's still trying to look at it and see if all the stuff that was down there before he got hit is still down there.
1st down and 15 after the penalty. Keith Henderson comes right. Pepper Johnson, number 52, is up on top with the tackle, helped by Steve DiOssi and Carl Banks. Carl Banks is agitated, I think would be the proper word.
Well, he was yelling at Jamie Williams here. Jamie Williams is the tight end who was blocking him. Jamie Williams is one of the good tight end blockers in this league, used mostly by the 49ers as a blocker, but every strong linebacker will always accuse the tight end he's playing over of holding him. I'll guarantee you, everyone in the league.
2nd down, 11. 7-7 ball game. 6:03 to go. 1st half. Taylor lines up on the left side. He's cut. The pass is caught. And Mark Collins knocks Ricky Waters out of bounds, and Waters prances back to the huddle.
Waters has more prance for a running back than any prance I've ever seen. Usually wide receivers prance like that. Defensive backs have a prance like that. But this guy uses energy in all sorts of ways. Even, you see him coming out of the huddle, he does a spinner on his way out of the huddle. But he prances and moves and jumps and dances. And as George Seifert says, he uses up more energy than any back he's ever had.
He's a prancer. 3rd and 6. Williams in motion. Bono settles for Jones. Didn't complete. Pepper Johnson defending. And Mike Coker comes on to try a field goal to break the tie.
Brent Jones was arguing that he had that ball. See, this is one of the new things with the Giant defense this year. He didn't have that ball. That ball hit the ground. But you see how Pepper Johnson was running with the tight end Brent Jones. That's a new scheme under Rod Russ. They play zone, but they match up in their zone. If a guy comes in your zone, you go and stay with him.
Michael Coper's 2nd attempt at the ball game. Bono will hold. And this time Coper is right through the money. A 36-yard field goal has given the 49ers a 3-point edge. Away, one of the 2 deep men for the Giants, and Mike Coper will kick off. There's the other, Jared Bunch. Joey Smith is also back. Bunch is the short man of the team. Touchback, and it'll come out to the 20. Coming up at halftime, Greg and Terry with scores and highlights of the first day of the regular season in 1992. Also a report on the U.S. Open tennis championships that are going on out near LaGuardia Airport at the Tennis Center. Jim Courier in action against McEnroe tomorrow, and you'll see that on CBS, but we'll have a report for you at halftime. Phil Simms and the Giants. Yes, John.
No, I was just going to say, I went out there and watched tennis the other night. It was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. Met John Daly out there, the golfer. Good guy. Good guy, Daly. Reminds me of a football player.
Hits one like a football player. Howard Cross on first down. And there's a fumble. Cross hit, and the 49ers have it.
Hey, the Giants are doing a lot of stuff that is self-destructing here. They had that 15-yard penalty. They complete a pass. They're going to start to move it. Good hit there. The ball just pops out.
David Whitmore. Excuse me, John.
Now, you just have to put that thing away, and you never want, when you get to the sideline, you always want the ball to the sideline. You don't want the ball to the inside where a defensive player can come and knock it out. Howard Cross should have even turned that left shoulder a little to protect the ball from the pursuit that would be coming from the inside.
That is the first turnover of this ball game. It comes with 8 seconds less than 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Bono, reverse. John Taylor. And Taylor is bumped out of bounds at the 30-yard line by Mark Collins after a gain of 10.
John Taylor came out there. He had all the blockers out there. Guy McIntyre, old guard, running about 50 yards, didn't hit anyone. So when Taylor got out there, he didn't have any blockers. Watch McIntyre, 62. If you're going to run this far, you better hit something. There's no use to waste all that energy and then shoot air. McIntyre came out here and shot air. And that's why there's 3 blue jerseys there. You had 3 blue jerseys to choose from. Why get air?
Hate to get air on the first game of the year.
No, you don't run that far and just get air.
Fumble. 49ers get it back at the 32. Misfire on the snap with Sapolu and Bono.
You see Steve Wallace up there talking to Leonard Marshall. Those are 2 guys that are going to be in a battle all day. Leonard Marshall, the strongest of the Giants, against Steve Wallace, I think is one of the best tackles. And they're 2 highly motivated competitors. And when they got motors that really go, they play every down, they play hard.
You've been a fan of Steve Wallace since he was a rookie in this league.
Yeah, I've always liked Wallace. I've always thought he's one of the best tackles in the league. And I thought that right off the bat, I could see that he was going to be a great one.
2nd and 12 with 3:40 to go, first half of play. The trap play, and it goes to Henderson. Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall collaborate on the tackle after a gain of 6.
Look at Wallace. He's there. He's going to make sure of everything. He's like a policeman out there. You know, when a guy gets down, he has the ball, he goes and puts his hands on him. Then he goes, checks all the Giants, sees if everything's all right in their huddle. Then he goes back to their huddle. But, you know, there's a lot of guys that play offense and they're a little passive. But Steve Wallace is an offensive guy who is aggressive.
John Taylor came out of the lineup, and he was a little gimpy, and Mike Sherrard is in now, along with Jerry Rice on 3rd and 6. This is Sherrard in motion. Bono into the flat for Ricky Waters. Perry Williams with the tackle, and Waters prances out of bounds with a first down and a gain of 9.
I tell you, this Waters has some life in him. He got some pads underneath there. I don't know where they're coming from, but the guy does have some life. I mean, he prances in and out of the huddle. He does spinners. The one thing he does is get that ball up the field and know where the first down is. After you get the first down, it's all right to get that. But I don't know what those pads are that are down by his side. I don't know if they're rib pads or what, but he has some pads underneath his number that I've never seen before.
48 yards and a first down. Here's Waters. I'll tell you something that is missing from his uniform. He was wearing sweatbands on his ankles in the pregame warm-up.
Yeah, I know. He did that. That was his thing. That's probably where he was going to save his sweat socks, or maybe, you know, they do have a uniform code in this league, and maybe they made him take off the sweatbands and put on socks down there. But see those things he has right under there? I don't know what it is right under his number there that he keeps pulling at.
Gives us something to investigate. There it is. We're at the 2-minute warning.
It's the second time comes this way. Rathman comes through, sneaks through here, and no one sees him. So you know what? The halfback who's been running the ball is going to come to the right. He fakes there. See Rathman right there, sneaks through. No one has him. Boom, he's wide open.
And look at the end of the play. Memories of his days at Grand Island High School in Nebraska.
Well, there's 3 Giants here. He didn't get very high, but he didn't have to. They were getting low to brace to get him low, and he just went right up over him.
He was a state high school high jump champion back in Grand Island. And Lawrence Taylor not too happy with the way things have gone. The Giants tied it up 7-7 since then on a kickoff. Matt Barr's 15-yard penalty set up a short touchdown drive. Here's Joey Smith. And he is out to the 27-yard line. And then the fumble recovery led to a touchdown. Well, opening day of 1992. They're tailgating out front.
Yeah, well, they're not very good. I mean, you know, it's the first game. They don't even know how to open up a bottle of wine. They're trying. Then you got these guys here. It's too fancy already. Look at this guy. He's still trying to open the bottle. Now we get to some stuff. I mean, this is what a tailgate should be.
No.
These guys, if you can't open a bottle of wine, you shouldn't be at a football game.
We are going to a Super Bowl this year. No.
Ed McCaffrey, Carl Banks. This guy might have been.
Well, that's the guy they should have had out there to open the wine. You need something to pull a cork out. That guy will pull a cork out for you.
Second down. Sims right side. Catch is made by Ingram. That's a first down with 1:28 to go. Gain of 8 for Mark Ingram off the arm of Phil Sims.
I think the Giants being down 10 here at halftime ought to think now, instead of trying to get a 7, think of a 3 first. You know, and go in 17-10, just 1 touchdown down, I think would be a big boost for them if they could get just a field goal out of this drive now.
They have a first down at the 43. Dave Meggett is into the left of Phil Sims. Sims intended for Callaway. It's incomplete.
Looked like Callaway, that he was telling Callaway he was going to throw it to him. Very Rice, it looks like he got an elbow there. Sometimes you hit that turf with an elbow and you just break a bursa sac. So what they try and do is get ice on it and then put the pressure on it, you know, with the bandage, just to put the pressure so it doesn't swell up.
Second down and 10. With 1:24 to go before halftime. Sims, 1 ouch it to Ingram. Now we'll check and see whether it's New York or San Francisco with a penalty. Phil Sims believes it's going to be against the 49ers, and it will be.
Sims knew it. He threw a bad ball then. That one looked like it just stuck in his hand.
Offside.
Hey, George Seifert is not going to lose his glasses.
5 yards. Second down.
That's a heavy rope he's got hanging on those glasses.
Yeah, well, you got to tie everything down when you play on the road. He's had some tough games here against the Giants because, of course, George Seifert was an assistant coach under Bill Walsh, so he's played against these Giants many times.
Second and 5. 1:20 to go, first half. Niners up by 10. Down New York at the 44. A gain of 8. And they will use a timeout.
And Sims took a real shot by Pierce Holt. This isn't one of Sims' problems, not being a tough guy. Watch 78 come here and boom, hit him just as he throws that ball. And it's not always the hit that you get from the guy. It's when you hit the ground, so you get a double hit in there.
Giants use one of their 3 and call time.
And again, I think the ball now on about the 45, they probably need another 15 yards to be in Matt Barr's field goal range, hoping Matt Barr's leg is okay. So I would think in terms of getting another 15 yards, then going for the end zone, not going for the end zone now.
1:06 to go before halftime. Giants with 2 timeouts left. That last catch by Dave Meggett was his first of the ball game. Meggett, who was injured just before halftime of the second preseason game, hasn't played since. And the umpire throws a flag before the ball is snapped.
You know, Phil Simms was trying to use that hut, you know, to get the 49ers to jump off, and I think one of his own guys moved.
No infraction on the play. No infraction on the play.
Maybe no one moved because the ball was never snapped. And again, Steve Young is still there, hasn't played. They said he wouldn't play the rest of the first half, but that doctor's been next to him the whole time. All the time he's been standing there, that doctor's been standing right next to him.
17-7 49ers. Simms. 49ers stunt. Simms throws it high. Right side intended for McCaffrey. The coverage from Merton Hanks, and Phil Simms is down in the arms of Pierce Holt.
It was Tim Harris and Pierce Holt, 2 of them. And one thing, you know, it's easy to blame the quarterbacks, but the 2 things, you have to give them protection and you have to get guys open. And here, if you don't give them protection, if you don't give a guy a chance to throw and you make him throw like that, no quarterback. You can have a quarterback on it. You can tell me about Hostetler and about this guy and that guy. But if you don't block them better than that, you can put anyone back there and they're not going to complete passes.
2nd and 10. Simms in trouble. Caught and dropped at the 49.
I think that was a combination there of no one getting open and having to hold the ball longer than he wanted to. You can see he's been sacked twice, hurried 4 times, knocked down 4, had 1 batted ball. So in this first half, the 49ers have put a lot of pressure on Phil Simms.
And the Giants have a 3rd and 14 with 43 seconds to go. Meggett. Dennis Brown makes the tackle. It'll be 4th down. That's a gain of 4. Dennis Brown, who checks in at 309 pounds, and there's a face mask call. Offense.
And Dennis Brown is 309, and that's in condition. That's
Illegal
down
hands
from
to the
347.
face. Number 72 offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Penalties on Doug Riesenberg, and the punting unit comes on.
Yeah, I think the fans don't like that, and they're booing that. But after a penalty, when you get 4th and long, I think you have to. I mean, just get out of there. You went for your field goal. You couldn't get it. I think that this is a call. Here's Riesenberg right here. You see that left hand up to the face. You see they always try and get that off hand in the shoulder pads. He got it up a little too high that time.
Landetta will punt again. That will come out to the 20 with 27 seconds remaining before halftime. A 44-yard punt for Sean Landetta. Well, at halftime, we'll go back across the Hudson to our new
Plays and got 14 points for him.
49ers will let the clock expire, content with a 17-7 halftime lead. They scored first. The Giants tied it up. And after the Giants tied the ball game on a Rodney Hampton run, the 49ers got a Koper field goal and a Tom Rathman touchdown catch. That's the end of the first half with our score, San Francisco 17 and the Giants 7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National.
The turnover, very big. Howard Cross's fumble.
That was a big one because Howard Cross fumbled, and the 49ers took that ball and they ran the bootleg again to Rathman for a touchdown. So had the Giants kept that ball, the score could be 10-7. But I think the Giants have to get inspired. They haven't been. They're letting the 49ers in the second quarter take it to them too much. And I think the Giants have to come out here if they have the manpower and take control of this game.
Matt Barr will kick off. Mark Logan and Amp Lee are deep, and this will be Mark Logan at the 12. And he is cut down as he gets gets out to the 30-yard line. Let's go back and take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. First, the Steve Young injury.
Well, he doesn't see this coming. He starts to scramble, and watch Eric Dorsey right there.
Concussion for Steve Young. He was out, then came back in and found Tom Rathman.
Yeah, bootleg left because he's a left-hander. And, of course, we get a hold, a double block, and a good move by Rodney Hampton for the Giants touchdown.
That tied it up 7-7, but then Rathman, after the Howard Cross fumble, caught this 15-yard pass and a 10-point edge. That's where we are right now, 17-7. There's Rathman to the 32-yard line. Gain of 2. Only one turnover in the first half, but a big one, John.
This was a one. It was a pass to Howard Cross, and again he catches the ball and he goes to straight arm, and then he comes back in, and as he does, he brings that ball and his shoulder back inside, and it gets hit and knocked out of there. The 49ers made that happen. Then they recovered the ball and went in and scored a touchdown.
It was John Johnson, number 55, who got the hit on Howard Cross. Eric Davis with a cover. Second down. Steve Bono continues at quarterback. And he finds Jerry Rice for a first down at the 45.
Well, we said they have to get the ball to Jerry Rice. They started early to get the ball to him, then kind of got away from it. Rice caught a touchdown pass, and it was called back. But here, he makes a heck of a move on Mark Collins. You see how quickly he can have his speed going one way and stop it and cut it off. And Collins, the defender, kept going backwards about 4 steps after Rice had already made his cut.
Jerry Rice said yesterday that the two men he most copied were his former teammate Dwight Clark and Steve Largent from Seattle. He admired their ability to make the break.
Copied guys that could come out of a break quickly.
Here's Rathman, who's played a huge part in the passing game today. That's a gain of 11.
I tell you, when you get Tom Rathman out in the open field, this guy is a load. He is a powerful man. And watch what he does to Pepper Johnson here. He just, again, sneaks through the line, comes out here, and then he runs that thing, and he really gave, at the end of that play, he really gave Pepper Johnson a jolt.
4 catches for Rathman, 2 of them for touchdowns, after having not caught a touchdown pass since 1989, and then he caught 1.
And all 3 that he's caught, they've sneaked him through the line, so some linebackers have to be alert for him.
Rathman to the 40-yard line. And a gain of about 5.
Because, on a play like that, on a pass play, a rusher, as he's going up the field, can pick off. I mean, you could darn near clothesline a back as he's coming through. And on the 2 touchdowns, the 2 bootleg touchdowns, and that other play, they let Rathman come right through the line. Linemen have to stay in their lanes, and if anyone tries to come through that line, you just give them a pop and knock them back where they came from.
Second down and 5. Opening moments of the second half. Carl Banks showing a blitz look. Here's Eric Howard making contact with Sapolu.
That would be interesting.
Nose guard, 5 yards.
That's one of the things I said shouldn't happen. The wide receivers should never jump off sides, and the nose tackle. Here he is. He's right here. He's lined up right. Here's a ball right in front of him. How can you not move when the ball moved? The ball didn't move. Why do you move? It would be interesting to see how many penalties on opening day guys that held out have. How many stupid penalties, like jumping off sides or, that where they're just not on the same page.
Well, Eric Howard just reported a week ago, and we've seen Jerry Rice with 2 motion penalties. First down and 10. Heck of a catch. Are you kidding me? That brings to mind almost immediately Roger Staubach's last pass, which was right in the arms of Herb Scott, an offensive guard.
Guy McIntyre. All you can do if you're a guard and you get that ball like that is run with it, then walk back to the huddle and laugh. That's all you can do.
Angus loves it. Look at him. they used to line him up as a back.
Yeah, they did. That was Bill Walsh thing in short yardage. You'd put Guy McIntyre because Guy McIntyre has great speed. I mean, if there's anyone who should get the ball, it could be Guy McIntyre. But they never touch the ball. You know, in drills and practice and stuff, you have the old offensive linemen, they're way off in the corner of pasture. You don't even give them a football to practice with. They don't even have a football down there.
Oh, dear. Second down after the incomplete pass. Bono, Jerry Rice, and Mark Collins. Boy, remember that opening season game here in 1988 when Jerry Rice went 78 yards over Mark Collins when he didn't get help from the safety, and the 49ers won that game 20-17.
Well, and that happened early on Mark Collins where he didn't get help from the safety on a touchdown pass to Jerry Rice, but Jerry Rice moved early. Mark Collins had good coverage on that last one. Mark Collins is the best defensive back on this Giant team and a real competitor, and a lot of times he'll go with the team's best receiver, and he's been drawing Jerry Rice most of the day.
3rd and 10. Blitz. Bono with a lot of room. And he rolls down at the 20 in front of Jackson. A gain of 14. I don't think Bono liked his style. Well, let's go back and take a look at that pass play from Joe Montana to Jerry Rice. 78 yards in the final 30 seconds, and the 49ers won that opening day encounter here 20-17. I remember Mark Collins sitting on the bench for 20 minutes after the game was over.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, this has been a great series. In fact, these guys in the last 10 years have won 6 of the Super Bowls. These two teams, the 49ers, of course, winning 4 Super Bowls, and the Giants winning 2.
That's a split first down. Runners fumble. Giant football.
The Giants needed. They needed to come over and take over this game. They just let Steve Bono make a big run on him. They needed a play. They got the ball here from Waters. Waters is the halfback here, is going to run from the left to the right. See him start in here. He just dropped the ball as he started to make a cut. Marshall was on the ground, just pulled it right in.
Turnovers are now even at 1 apiece. Earlier today, Michael Chang, Yvonne Lendl both won their matches. Lendl had to go 4 sets. And in the women's singles, Monica Seles and Gabriela Sabatini both won. First down and 10 at the 40. Jared Bunch goes left. That's Dana Hall trying to bring him down. And we might have a face mask.
Tim Harris caused it all. He knows it too because he jumped off sides on the punt thing. George Seifert knows that that rope's getting tighter, and the Giants are running bunch.
5-yard face mask foul. 28 defense. Enforced from the end of the play. First down.
Which isn't a bad idea. Man, I think this Bunch can be a pretty good player, but I think he has to be one of those guys who you have to work. Now, Dana Hall there, the rookie free safety, we saw him miss a tackle earlier on a touchdown. That time he just put his hand across Bunch's face mask. But here's where the Giants have to establish themselves. Here's where they've been killing themselves. This is where they were terrible last year, inside the red zone they call it. And this is where they have to get going.
Hampton down to the 2. Well, John, they not only had problems inside the 20 last year, those problems continued in preseason.
I'll tell you, the two things that killed them last year were their inside the 20 offense and their fourth quarter defense. I mean, they'd have leads and they'd blow it, or they'd get inside the 20 and not be able to score. Look at this in the preseason. Again, that doesn't mean an awful lot, but they've had 10 possessions here and only 1 touchdown.
They trail by 10. Hampton, touchdown New York. equalize. They used the turnover, the fumble recovery from Leonard Marshall, and they get their second touchdown of the ball game. Matt Barr's extra point is up and good. And with 5:33 to go, third quarter, it's a 3-point game. 5:33 to go, third quarter. Giants lead 17-14. Matt Barr getting ready to kick off. Mark Logan and Amp Lee are the two deep men. Logan at the 1. And he gets it out to the 28-yard line. A 27-yard return. We go back and look at the touchdown.
You know, watch what an influence. Well, let's talk about an influence. Here's Jumbo Elliott. He's going to step out, make Ted Washington step out, and watch the hole that makes by the influence. The ball's going to go inside. See, he stepped out. Now stop it there. Now look, by him stepping out, look at that hole that makes in there for Rodney Hampton. That's a veteran offensive tackle play that influences a young defensive lineman.
And there's the man who made the influence block. Time has been called. Dake Megan looks on from the sidelines. His teammates have just gotten their second touchdown of the ball game. Joey Smith, Dave Brown, the rookie, currently listed as the fourth-team quarterback on the Giants. 17-14, 1 year ago on a Monday night opener here at Giant Stadium. The Giants prevailed by 2, 16-14. Most of the recent games between these two teams have been relatively low scoring.
Yeah, and as I said, you know, they've been big games over the years too, because, you know, the teams have done so well.
Steve Bono on in place of the injured Steve Young. Across the middle, John Taylor breaks loose. He broke the tackle of Mark Collins.
Yep, that's what happens. Usually when a guy comes across, John Taylor is a strong guy, and a guy comes across the middle and you hit him going the other way, you usually knock him down, so you don't wrap your arms. Mark Collins had that shot of a lifetime, and he didn't wrap his arms. He thought he was going to knock John Taylor down. John Taylor was too strong for that. These 49er receivers, both Taylor and Rice, will go inside, and they will go inside with strength.
That is a gain of 36. First and 10 from the 35. Play action. Bono looks left, settles for the shot man. Oh, and Waters has it slip right through his hands. And McGriggs was the closest Giant to it.
And Lawrence Taylor was fighting down there. I think Lawrence Taylor hasn't made a lot of plays today. You see him, they're calming him down there, and I think he's starting to get a little frustrated because the 49ers have been doing a pretty good job of blocking him. Watch Taylor's side. Here he is against Steve Wallace. Wallace is so big and so strong, there's nothing there. He tries to go inside, he tries to go outside, and Wallace just stays with him. And after that, Taylor started fighting him. I think he's getting a little frustrated.
Second and 10, Brent Jones split wide left. Bono back into the flat for Waters, who makes the grab, cuts inside of Carl Banks, and has enough yardage to move the chain again. He's down to the 24-yard line, a gain of 11.
Now, last time the 49ers were down in this spot, the Giants got a turnover, and now they have to create another one. Of course, on the 49ers side, they just have to keep control of the ball and not let that thing get loose down here.
If you joined us late, Steve Young started the game at quarterback for the 49ers. Suffered a concussion on the first series, sat out a second series, came back in and played a little bit more, long enough to throw a touchdown pass, but then gave way to Bono, and Bono's gone ever since. Bono, Sherrard at the 15. 49ers are marching, and right now we'll go back to our New York studios for an update.
All right, Verne, in the third quarter at Tampa, Phoenix Cardinals quarterback Tim Rosenbaugh sacked here by the Bucs' Santana Dobson, and he stayed down. And complaining of back pain, he has been taken by stretcher to a hospital for precautionary x-rays. Rosenbaugh, of course, missed all of last season with a knee injury. We'll update you with his situation as soon as we know, Verne.
All right, Greg, and we wish Tim Rosenbaugh the best. 3:25 to go. There's Jeff Hostetler. He is healthy enough to play.
Well, I think he's healthy enough to play now, but as the week went on, he got healthier. He has a pelvis bruise, and Ray Hanley made his decision on Wednesday, and that was when he didn't feel that Hostetler was ready.
First down and 10 in the 3-point ball game with 3:11 to go, third quarter. Waters with McIntyre in front. Waters spins to the 5. Boy, he does have a lot of moves, and a lot of them are effective.
And that's a combination of good moves by Ricky Waters and bad tackling by the Giants. Someone has to be up there, boom, and force that thing, and then you got to make the tackle. Now watch what happens here on the outside. Rathman gets a good block on Banks. No one's up there to force it. They get a missed tackle there by Collins, and after that miss, he gains another 5 or 6 yards. So no force on that side. Good blocks by the 49ers. Good move by Waters. Bad tackling by Collins.
Waters has 60 yards on 8 carries. Keith Henderson gets 1. There's a loose ball. Who got it? 49ers got it.
Ball counted.
No gain.
Now, they didn't get any movement on Leonard Marshall there. They tried to, and then they ran right into his area. Marshall played short yardage the way you're supposed to. Watch him, number 70 right there. You see, he takes Wallace and puts him right into the backfield. The ball was supposed to be in that hole, and Marshall didn't give him any hole.
1:45 to go, third quarter, second down and goal, and Steve Bono has called a 49er timeout. 17-14, 49ers lead. .146 to go, third quarter. 49ers have a second down and goal from the 4. One ingredient more or less absent from a 49er attack since Roger Craig's heyday has been a running game, and Ricky Waters has helped provide a lot of effort today with 60 yards on 8 carries.
Well, and again, like Roger Craig, he's not only run the ball for 60 yards, he's also caught 4 passes for 36 yards. Remember, Craig used to do both of those things.
Second and goal. That's Taylor in motion. Bono back into the flat for Rathman, and Tom Rathman has caught 3 touchdown passes in the game. That equals the high number he had in a season.
I'll tell you, and there's the old fullback. When he scores one, he just gives headbutts. You hear him, they call him Woody. That's his nickname. But again, he's not the primary receiver, but he's caught his 3rd one today. He went diving and tried to hit something. There wasn't anyone there. Oh, Woody's been sneaking through that Giant defense all day. I remember Robert Del Pino from the Rams had a game like that against the Giants here, where he would always sneak. They never covered him all day, and that's the way it is today with Rathman.
That was a year ago.
Yeah, it was like they had a scouting report. You got to stop the wide receivers. You got to stop Rice. You got to stop Taylor. You have to stop the running game, and no one mentioned you better watch Tom Rathman on the pass.
Well, the rope stays loose around the back of George Seifert, and Tim Harris, who jumped offside, sustaining a suddenly revived drive for the Giants, has to breathe a little easier.
I'll tell you, you look at Tom Rathman walking out there, and I don't know, when they made a football player, you just think that's what one's supposed to look like.
He could have played in the 40s.
Yeah. I mean, he could have played in the 30s. He could have played before they had helmets, where they had those leather helmets, you know, that they used to fold up, put in their back pocket.
I think he did.
Well, in fact, from that, you look at that shape and that head there, he looks like he did play without a helmet for a while. That was probably in those yards in Nebraska.
High jumper, Grand Island.
It looked like someone high jumped on his head. But that's what a fullback ought to do. I mean, boom, boom, big old fullback. That's probably why he's caught three. Everyone's saying, watch Rathman for the block, watch Rathman for the run, and no one says, watch Rathman for the pass.
24-14. Joey Smith bobbles the ball. That'll be a touchback. Next Sunday, John and I will be back here for the Cowboys and the Giants. Jimmy Johnson turned the Cowboys into legitimate contenders in just 3 years. Leading the way are Troy Aikman at quarterback and Emmitt Smith, the league's leading rusher a year ago. They were doormats just a few years back, and now we'll see if they can make their way back to the top. It's the Cowboys and the Giants next Sunday here on CBS. Bill Sims tosses it out to Rodney Hampton. And he gets to the 23-yard line, a gain of 4. Make it the 24 officially.
Yeah, that was what kind of frustrated the Giants last year, was their 8-8 record. But, you know, just starting to look good. You know, like having a lead in the fourth quarter. We're not into the fourth quarter yet, but then losing the lead. You know, like just scoring a touchdown, getting some momentum, things would start to look good, and then boom, the other team would come back and knock them out at the end.
2nd and 6. Here comes Harris. There goes Sims. And there are the 6 guns.
As you say, Harris jumped offside on that punt, then he felt that, then the 49ers got a touchdown, and then he felt good, and then he's going to run right by Howard Cross there. He grabbed him with his left arm, brought the right arm up over, and ran right by the tight end Cross. And he brings those 6 guns out, like you say.
That's the 3rd sack of the ball game. And it'll be 3rd and 14. Shotgun. Howard Cross. But that is short of the first down. And the Giants will be forced to punt. A gain of 11. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with our score. The 49ers 24 and the Giants 14. Our coverage continues after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 49ers lead it by 10, 24-14, and they are about to get the ball back on the first play of the final quarter. Verne Lundquist and John Madden from Giant Stadium. Sean Landetta to punt away to Don Griffin. On a 4th down and 4. That is returnable by Griffin at the 34. And he steps out of bounds at the 46-yard line. 39-yard punt, 12 on the return, a net of 27.
Yeah, you have to be impressed with Steve Bono and the way that he came in here. You know, one thing that won't even show up in the stats is Steve Young gets knocked out. Steve Bono walks in. His first pass is a touchdown pass to Jerry Rice, who was called back because Rice moved. And then I've been impressed with a guy that just the maturity he shows, the leadership, the, you know, coming in off the bench, not having all the practice and handling the team the way he has.
Here's Henderson going left, chased by Pepper Johnson, who tries for the helmet high tackle, and finally the tackle is made at the 46, but that's a gain of 9. There is Steve Young, suffered a concussion when hit by Eric Dorsey, and did play a bit later after, and we're told, by the way, that neurologically there is no problem at all. They just precautionary.
Well, the only thing is concussions don't go away. You know, I mean they don't go away in 5 minutes. You have a concussion, you have a concussion, and I think the precaution is that when you get the concussion, you don't play anymore that day, and I think that's the right choice.
2nd down and 1. 49ers. And motion from Leonard Marshall.
Encroachment, number 70, defense. 5 yards, First down.
Now let's check what's going on in the American League. Toronto beats Minnesota. California over Baltimore. Detroit beats Milwaukee. And Kansas City took the White Sox by 1. In the National League, Los Angeles over Pittsburgh. Houston beats Montreal. San Diego, Atlanta, Cincinnati, and St. Louis are also winners. And we can add this bit of information that here in New York, the Yankees beat the Rangers and Jose Canseco 7-zip. Bono after the pass to Jerry Rice. And Lamar McGriggs makes the tackle, but a gain of 7.
Yeah, the 49ers have a new offensive coordinator, Mike Shanahan, this year, but the offense looks like the old 49er offense. I mean, it was Bill Walsh and then Mike Holmgren, who's now with Green Bay, and then they bring Mike Shanahan. In fact, this is Mike Shanahan right here. Remember, he was the head coach of the Raiders and an assistant at Denver. And when he came in, when Bill Walsh was here and Mike Holmgren, they used to take tapes of themselves in the meeting room putting in the plays. So Shanahan studied those guys putting in play. I'd never heard of that before in my life.
Rathman to the 30, and that might be enough for another first down. Jumbo Elliott forgot to shave this morning.
Well, he shouldn't shave. I mean, any big old tackle named Jumbo, you shouldn't even shave. That's a better look than, you know, a clean-shaven look. I mean, you're a tackle. You're going out there to do battle. You're going to sweat. Stuff's going to be hanging off you. You don't want to shave. In fact, if you shave, it hurts. Most players don't shave the day of a game.
Probably disqualifies you from the All-Madden team.
Well, yeah, because you don't like the, you know, it burns.
First and 10. Bono, Rice, first down at the 15. Jerry Rice.
Yeah, there's an athlete. Yeah, if you looked at back or Tom Rathman's helmet, you see it said "No fear." I'm not exactly sure why you put it back here. It must be for the referee to read, who's behind you, because you wouldn't know. I mean, if you got it on, how do you know it's back there? You know, and then you can't see. I guess when you go off on, that has to be an old fullback from Nebraska, something like that. Yeah, because the only guy that can read it is the referee standing here behind him, unless you put it down on the ground when you're on the sideline.
First down. Bono. Taylor at the 1. It's Ricky Waters, 32 instead of 82. Ricky Waters has been impressive today.
Yeah, he has been impressive. He was injured in training camp a year ago, didn't play at all last year. But I'll tell you, he's another go-to guy for the 49ers. We're talking about the Giants not having any. The 49ers have developed a lot of them. You know that Rice is one. You know that Taylor's one. And now you get a Waters, and they got them all over the place. The fans are starting to chant now, Ray must go.
Only thing is, Ray's not playing defense. First and goal. Play fake. Almost picked off by Pepper Johnson.
When they hear, you know, they expect to run, so they really get down for the run. He fakes it there. In fact, there was a good fake by Rathman. They tackled Rathman, but the ball may have been tipped before it got there, and then Pepper Johnson was the second guy to tip it. I think Leonard Marshall tipped it first and hits it. You see Rathman, he was tackled there, then the ball comes off wobbling.
Second and goal. Stop short. It'll be third and goal.
Hey, watch Lawrence Taylor, number 56 here, come and fill this hole. They have Pepper Johnson and Lawrence Taylor are the two deep guys there, and they just run right into the hole and hit Rathman before he could get there. See, you want to get penetration. You want to hit him in the hole before he gets to the line of scrimmage. Taylor put the hit on him and let McGriggs get there to stop him.
Jerry Rice goes to the left. If he comes in motion, watch out for them to throw it to him. He does not. They reverse it, and he runs it, and he is stopped.
I think I would have given the ball to Tom Rathman if I want someone to run it down there in the goal line. Jerry Rice can outrun you, but if he can't outrun you, he's a tough guy too, but he doesn't have the power to put his head down and bowl it in the end zone. Mark Collins made a real good tackle there. Watch out, it's the old fake, the reverse. Good block there by Guy McIntyre. Good tackle by Mark Collins.
4th down. 7:27 remaining in regulation play. John Johnson's first interception as a pro will be memorable.
Sims is throwing to McCaffrey here. Johnson was waiting there, and you see he just out-wrestles him for the ball. When the ball is there, there are 4 hands on it, and Johnson's 2 came up with it.
And Mike Koper will kick it off. 31-14. And the 49ers, opening on the road for the 18th time in the last 20 years, have jumped out to a 17-point lead at 31-14. That one bounces left. Joey Smith back will drop to 1A. It'll come out to the 20. Opening day of the 1992 regular season, and let's bring you up to date on the early games. The winners, Philadelphia and Buffalo at home, Atlanta and Chicago at home, Minnesota and Pittsburgh on the road, and Indianapolis at home. And it would appear here that a road team, the 49ers, are going to win, as John Johnson, 2nd-round draft pick a year ago, and played in 9 games last year, the 2nd-round pick out of Clemson.
Well, and he was disappointing last year because he felt that he really never understood the defense. Of course, he's playing now because Keith DeLong has been holding out.
1st down and 10. Sims fires it short to the 25-yard line. The catch is made by Dave Meggett, a gain of 7.
Did you see Pierce Holt on the rush here? Pierce Holt ran by him. Sims gave Holt a little move, and Holt didn't know what to do, so he just threw his right leg out at him. You know that Pierce Holt is blind in the left eye, but he can see out of that right eye, and he just threw a foot at Sims.
That one is caught by McCaffrey. Romanowski with the tackle. A gain of 4, and that ought to be enough to move the chain. It will. 1st down.
There is a tough guy, I'll tell you, and he's a real anchor for this 49er defense if he can stay healthy.
Sims on 1st down. Right side. McCaffrey. Merton Hanks defensively. That's a gain of 9. Eric Dorsey, who's hit in the 1st quarter, knocked Steve Young out of the game at the time for the moment, and later for the day as Young came back and then left.
You know, it's one thing, you know, everyone always says, what does a prevent defense do except prevent you from winning? But we just saw an example on that interception where a prevent defense worked. And a prevent defense is one of those things. It's like a well-officiated game. If the prevent defense works, it never gets mentioned the next day. If it doesn't work, that's all that gets talked about.
3rd down. 3rd and 1. McCaffrey with another catch out to the 49-yard line of the 49ers. And John Johnson with a tackle. There's Rathman. 3 touchdown catches today. Steve Young threw him 1, and Steve Bono threw him 2. Teammate Mike Walter.
Now he could probably read that helmet, the back of it where it says no fear. In fact, he's washing it off now, or wiping it off now.
There's a sack of Sims. Tim Harris, and the 6 guns come out again. Flag is down. Unsportsmanlike. I think they're going to get Harris for taunting.
No, they can't do that.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's, I mean...
Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, 92 defense.
No.
15 yards.
I think this is one thing that the NFL doesn't need. And, you know, last year when they took away a lot of this stuff or started calling this stuff, they started calling it the No Fun League, and that's why. I mean, Tim Harris isn't doing anything. He's not taunting anything. I mean, he just adds a little something to the game. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, that didn't hurt anyone.
And it's not like that's a new tactic of Tim Harris.
He's been doing that. I mean, that's a stupid call.
There's Dave Meggett. Well, Bob McElwee made the call, the referee. Obviously not a candidate for humorist of the year.
Well, the thing is, I mean, football, I know it's business, and I know there's court cases and all that, but it's still a game, and it should still be fun. And, you can't, I mean, it has to be fun and funny and celebrate all those things.
Matter of fact, I'm thinking, John, to our conversation with Pierce Holt, who is a very quiet member of that defensive line. And Pierce Holt said yesterday afternoon that he enjoys playing with Tim Harris, that he and Kevin Fagan often come off and talk about how they wish they could enjoy the game as much as Tim Harris does.
I said because he's always laughing. He comes off the field at practice, he's laughing. During the game, he's laughing. And Fagan and Holt are always real serious.
That ball dropped by Dave Meggett.
In fact, Tim Harris was just waving to take himself out. I think he's about ready. He's had enough today. He just pointed, I'm tired.
It'll be third down.
He's had a long day, and of course he's playing a lot more than maybe he anticipated, because you know that the 49ers traded Charles Haley, who did play that elephant position. And now, of course, it's all Tim Harris's job.
Third down and 4. Under 5 minutes to go. Sims intended for Callaway with Merton Hanks going for the interception. Well, the Giants 8-8 a year ago. George Seifert and the 49ers were 10-6. They started off 4-6 after they lost here to Ray Hanley's team, 16-14. Then came on so strong at the end, and for the Giants, a season that never really got on track last year.
And I think early this year they're going to find out a lot about themselves today, and then next week they play the Cowboys here.
Fourth down and 4, 49er ball. A loss of 5 for Meggett.
You want to get the ball to Meggett, that's all right, but at least throw it to him where it's beyond the first down marker. I think that's why the fans are booing.
And heading out of here.
If a draw play doesn't work, it looks like a give up.
Next Sunday, there will be no long bus ride for John. We'll stay right here back at Giant Stadium for the Cowboys and the Giants. It was a year ago in Texas. Michael Irvin beat Mark Collins for the winning touchdown with 2:13 remaining as the Cowboys won 21-16. Michael Irvin is back after his holdout. Next Sunday, he and his teammates will take on the Giants again on CBS. Crazy Ray has been down at Texas Stadium, I think. I thought this campaign died a natural death a year ago.
It should. Look who it's from those yahoos in New Jersey. The only one left are the yahoos. Yahoos.
Bono. What a hit by McIntyre.
McIntyre is one of the best pulling guards in football. You know, that's something that has kind of been lost over the years, where a guard pulls out and lead the sweep. But watch the left guard, McIntyre, pull out there, number 62. One, because he can run, he has good speed, and 2, he can hit in the open field. Now, not everyone can run, and then not everyone can find a target and hit it in the open field.
That's a gain of 11, and the 49ers have 136 yards on the ground in this game. Warriors with most of them. Well, it's the opening day of the National Football League, but baseball's underway. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel.
Important baseball, too, Verne. Bottom of the 7th inning, Minnesota leading Toronto 2-0, but all that changed with Ed Sprague's first home run since August of '91, a 3-run shot that gave Toronto a 3-2 lead. They went on to win it 4-2. Coupled with Baltimore's loss to the Angels, the Blue Jays now lead the American League East by a game and a half, Verne.
All right, and here it's 31-14. Thank you, Greg. 4:04 remaining in the clock running.
I remember Ed Sprague's dad, the guy that hit that home run. Ed Sprague's dad played for the Oakland A's, and he was a neighbor of mine. I knew him when he was a kid, little Eddie Sprague.
What a block by Foster. And a first down at the 46-yard line. That's a gain of 6 for Ricky Waters.
Yeah, watch Guy McIntyre right here. Watch him block. And we'll see where he comes down on the nose tackle. Now they can't come down and chop those guys anymore. His head has to be just right at the waist, and McIntyre's head is in a perfect position. Just knock John Washington right out of there, and boom, get right around the corner.
First down and 10 with 3:15 to go. 49ers will be 1-0. Giants lose the opener, with the Cowboys coming in next week. Waters weaving his way inside the 40 for a gain of 8.
You know, one of the things I was thinking, the fans that are left here are again yelling, "Ray must go." In fact, they're even bringing signs for it. I'll tell you, that's tough on opening day. You just get the bunting, you get stuff open, and then they start to cheer that the coach has to go already. Ray should stay, not.
Well, there has been a lot of speculation about Ray Hanley's status here. George Young, of course, the man who hired him, and Ray in the second year of a 3-year contract. Waters with 94 yards is closing in on a 100-yard effort. It would be his first, obviously, as a pro, because he sat out all of last year. Jerry Rice.
I think Jerry Rice is finished. When they put the scissors to the tape, that's the end of your day.
31-14. The 49ers lead the Giants by 17. Coming up tonight on CBS. 31-14, final 2 minutes. Ricky Waters, and even 100 yards rushing, will get the ball again. And he is knocked out of bounds as you get near the 31. Whoops. Steve Diossi and Keith Henderson that time.
Yeah, they're still talking down there. You know, when you first start thinking about the Giants playing the 49ers, and you wonder, where's Jim Burt? Remember, every time they'd play, either Jim Burt was the old nose tackle for the Giants and making big plays for the Giants, or he was a nose tackle for the 49ers. And then so we tried to call him. We couldn't find Jim Burt. And then someone found him last night in a Mexican restaurant in New Jersey with Joe Montana. And there he is. Look, Jim Burt is a missing person. Where'd Burt go already? You know, and so we found him in a Mexican restaurant, and he's going to Buffalo tomorrow to try out for the Bills.
Amp Lee, the second-year man, or the first-year man. Well, we were all set to distribute this, and then he showed up.
Well, yeah, we couldn't find him, and, you know, we tried to call him. We just got a message here and a message here. Talked to Giant players. They hadn't talked to him. Talked to Matt Millen. He didn't know where he was. 49ers didn't know where he was. Then he shows up in a Mexican restaurant. And then he says he's going to Buffalo to play try out for nose tackle. We were ready to send that flyer out. Hey, where's Jim Burt? And lo and behold, the old nose tackle shows up.
Why do I have a problem with a Mexican restaurant in New Jersey?
I don't know, but the thing is, he ought to be here. I mean, when the 49ers and the Giants play on opening day, Jim Burt ought to be somewhere.
Here is Amp Lee on 3rd and 8. Looks like he's trying to run off the clock. Well, you remember Jim Burt. He played for both clubs, and this is one of the more memorable scenes in Giant history, John.
Well, a guy plays nose tackle all day, then climbs in the stand. Look at that. Got a lousy golf swing. Teaches on the sideline. He'd teach anyone that would listen. Give them all heck.
And sometimes he can get caught doing things he should not have been doing.
Well, sometimes cheating's good. See, he had it covered up. He had the towel there. Then he got caught. Said, who, me? Then where'd the guy go? We couldn't find. He's in a Mexican restaurant. He's going to Buffalo tomorrow.
On 4th down. The 49ers go for it and do not get it. They're at the 25. And the clock stops as the ball goes over on downs to the Giants. Today's game was produced by Robert D. Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. And the senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. By the way, the 49ers are back here in this facility in 2 weeks.
In fact, the 49ers are going to log more flying miles than any team in the NFL. Someone broke that down, how much they travel, and the 49ers travel more than anyone. But I'll tell you, they're a good team. I mean, I think that I said last year, at the end of the year, they were one of the best teams in the league. I think they're starting out this year as one of the best teams.
Jared Bunch up the middle for a first down at the 37-yard line on what will be the final play of the ball game. It was close for the better part of 3 quarters. 10 points at the half, 17-14 at one point, but it winds up 31-14 Niners. So for John Madden, this is Verne Lundquist saying so long from Giant Stadium, where the final score, the 49ers win at 31-14. 60 minutes is next, except in the West Coast in the Mountain Time Zone. You've been watching CBS sports coverage of the National Football League. This